Well, hey there. Oh gosh, welcome back to Coffee, Chaos, and Grace. This is Cheryl Cleveland, coming to you from a place that I'm not normally in. This is not my office. This is a hotel room because I am currently teaching in an online high school, and we have graduation today. Actually, it's all week in different places in California, but today we are here in Fullerton, and I have come to help with the graduation. And so I was put into a hotel room last night, which was awesome. Anyway, so I am here in a completely different and hopefully, hopefully you can see me and hear me. That's all I gotta say. Um, if you have never been to this channel yet, welcome, welcome. We are developing a community of like-minded people. And when I say like-minded, I mean like-minded in the fact that we are here to support each other through times that are happening in our lives, and to understand each other as best we can, in a world where a lot of times there is, I don't know, celebration of the chaos, right? We want good chaos that means learning from and moving forward from. So, ooh, that went to a different direction. Anyway, if you like this video, please like it and subscribe to the channel and join us. Join us every single day. I'm going to come to you no matter where I am, and I am going to talk about what's happening in my life, talk about anything that you suggest that we can talk about in our lives. But the main goal is to not feel alone, to feel like you are experiencing some of the same things that the rest of us are too, and that we can, I don't know, just feel that camaraderie from situations that are the same. So, okay, today I want to talk about my story when it comes to my children, because I know I've talked before about the fact that I do have 6 children, all of which are grown up. My youngest is 26. My oldest is turning 39. Yes, 39 in July. So, yeah, it's an interesting road that I've been on, because I want to say that I first met my son when he was 11. That's my oldest. And I say first met him because we adopted. Now, I want to talk a little bit about my adoption story. There's so much to it, and I want to just kind of put it into a small package for you, because I could go on and on about it. But imagine having one child and then going from one child to 6 children in the course of 1 year. That's what happened to me, to us. And if anybody had ever told me that, first of all, that I would ever have 6 children, but secondly, that it would happen so quickly, I would have laughed at them and said, no, that is just not something that I would do. Well, I did. We started off, we did have one child, not long after we were married, actually. And we had that one child, and she was awesome. She still is. And then we miscarried. On our second child, we miscarried. I'm thinking, I want to say I was in just the end of the first trimester, but it happened on Christmas Eve. Well, I found out about it on Christmas Eve. I had an appointment and went in and found out that my baby was not viable anymore. And I say this now, this is so many years later, right? Because it's been 29-ish years, 28 years since then. And so it's easier for me to say it, but it was an awful, terrible thing to go through. And for those of you who've experienced miscarriage, it's a loss that was really tough. I didn't even want to think about getting pregnant again, I will say. And so I talked to my husband about adoption. We talked about adoption before too. At the time, in Indiana, where we lived, there was commercials on. It was Dave from Wendy's, and he had been adopted himself, and he was really pushing toward adopting children who were in foster care at the time. And as a teacher, as a high school teacher, I had a lot of students that were in foster care, and I went, oh, okay, this is maybe something that I could get behind. Not looking at a baby, but instead looking at a kid that was already here, that was already struggling in life, and maybe we could help. Okay, so fast forward. Through our trainings that we went through, because you had to be trained and you had to be investigated in order to be placed, have children placed with you. Through that, we actually had a heart for sibling groups, because a lot of times siblings who were put into the foster care system were not placed together. And so we said, well, maybe we can get a sibling group of 2, add to our child that we had, and have a sibling group of 2. Well, they came to us and they said, we have this sibling group we think would be really great for you. And their caseworker showed us a picture, and they were so cute. But there were 4 of them. And we said, oh, wow. We weren't thinking about that many. But, let's consider it. And so we did. And the more we looked at the picture, the more we realized that the picture was older than they had first. When they just showed it to us, oh, look, here's a picture of them. But no, the picture had been taken years before. And so we realized that they were older. Okay, the oldest was 11 when we met him, and the youngest was 6, maybe just turning 6. And so that was like, oh, wow, because we had a toddler, right? Anyway, long story short, too late. We looked at these kids. We said, is there any way that we can meet them? And that was kind of against the rules, which I still think is an odd thing. I think you need to have some connection with them. But yes, they allowed us to not only meet the kids, we actually got to give their foster parents, we gave them what they call respite care, which means that we took the kids for weekends at a time to give them a break. We did that every weekend until we had them as ours. So we started, I want to say, in March, and July 4th weekend of 1999 is when we were told that the children were going to be ours. And that was awesome. We took them on a camping trip. We had a great time. And my kids still talk about that today as far as that trip. We got to tell them that we were going to be their parents. We had mixed reactions from them. Our oldest said, I can't wait till I'm 18 and unadopted, and then I can I can go and be with my birth parents. Right? Birth parents, by the way, had in all of our kids given up their parental rights. There was drugs and alcohol involved in prison. So that was not going to happen necessarily, but we just kind of rolled with that punch, right? It was so awesome when they all just started calling us mom and dad. And eventually, that's just who we are to them. And I know I'm kind of skipping over a lot of time and things, and I will, I'm sure, bring these things up later on too. But that's kind of my adoption story. What happened then was, that was July. In August or September, I can't remember, we found out that I was pregnant again. And so in May of 2000, I had kind of our baby. It was super cool because we, the kids had known that our first child, she she was ours biologically. We had the other kids join our family in December of 1999. It was official, gavel and birth certificates changed and the whole bit, right? In May of 2000, we had our youngest, and of course, she never knew the difference. As far as she knew, she had 5 brother and sisters that were there when she was born, right? It wasn't until much later in her life did she realize that they had come as a package later on. Anyway, I give you this story to tell you that there are things that that I feel are just complete blessings. If you've ever adopted, you know that there are struggles within that, right? I just think that I know that love has grown completely within the situation, and that my kids are my kids, plain and simple. So I now have 6. Now, again, we went from that 1 to 6 in 1 year, which would put a strain on anybody's marriage, to be honest. But ours had already had its difficulties, and that's for a whole nother discussion. But I think part of the reason why we divorced was the fact of it was a lot of pressure in that time, not just financially, but also just emotionally. But now here we are. My ex-husband and I are really good friends now. We have come to a point where we have a lot of forgiveness between us, and things are so much better. My kids are grown. My oldest is the boy, right? He's always been such a caretaker, and he's now a correctional officer. He works at a prison, and he just became a daddy for the first time. He and his wife, we didn't think we were going to have kids, and then all of a sudden they had one on the way, and what a remarkable dad he is. He's very vocal about the fact that he learned good things, and that he didn't want to be like his birth parents were. He wanted to take on a completely different goal with his children. And he's such a good dad. My other kiddos, I have 4 out of my 6 that are married. All of those have children. So there's 10 grandbabies. And my oldest biological child, she'll tell you she's the oldest. She is getting married in November. And my youngest still lives with me. She's 26, and she's in a very serious relationship. They're planning to get married. And so I'm looking at being an empty nester in the next few years. And that's another thing we'll get to talk about, because some of you have definite experience with that I don't have. Okay. So all that turned into a big fat story about what happened with our adoption. But I just want you to know that if you have adopted children, that I get it. I get exactly a lot of the things. There's a lot of struggles with it that we don't have time for today. But definitely it's something that comes in that is best to just acknowledge when it happens and when you feel certain things. If you've never adopted, it's okay. It's not a big deal. But I just wanted you to know where I come from when it comes to parenting, and when it comes to just that life experience. Anyway, thank you for listening to my story. I really appreciate it. Please, if you've gotten this far, oh my gosh, thank you for listening to me ramble on. And if you'd like this video, subscribe to our channel and go over to Facebook. Find Coffee, Chaos, and Grace on our Facebook. I just started it, and I would love for people to join me there and just have a place to talk, to be, to ask questions, do that in the comments below too, because again, I just want to develop this community into a group of people who are there to I don't know, to support in every way that we can. Okay, I'm done. Thank you so much. I appreciate you hanging in here with me in my hotel room. And until next time, thank you. Have a good one, and give yourself some grace today. Bye.